Nvidia, my favorite semiconductor company, just hit some new highs. It was sitting at $475 before. We can see the stock is up roughly 3%, up almost $14 on the day. We also see similar companies in the semiconductor market like AMD also up over 3% today. So in today's episode, I want to take a closer look at what's happening in the market. There was a price target analyst and how this movement can be impacting other semiconductor companies like AMD. So let's get started. So I want to say the first thing that's really impacting Nvidia today is we did have a price target upgrade from a Truist Security. They maintain Nvidia as a buy, but they did increase the price target from $470 to $545. And I've looked a little bit of the reports here and there to try to see what the reason for the upgrade. We're going to discuss that in a bit. But this isn't the first huge upgrade we've seen. Earlier this, about 3 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, we did see that KeyBanc also did increase their price target of Nvidia. I believe it was at 500, and they increased it to $550. So we are seeing a lot more companies kind of focusing and pushing Nvidia to this 550 price point. Remember, Nvidia right now is only sitting at 474. I do want to say it is funny after kind of all these roundups and after the stock, it has up year to date over 231%. We continue to see these price target upgrades. That's why I personally don't follow many analysts and their price targets, especially since most price targets are only meant for 12 months, right? And most investors are looking for long-term investments. And 12 months at the end of the day still seems like a very, very short time.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
But let's take a closer look at what's happening within this upgrade, right? So within the upgrade, it does seem like the analyst believes that there's more bullish sentiments from recent feedback on electronic components and buyers and sellers, right? So that's a great news because it kind of showcases that, hey, maybe things in the data center market might be picking up. We know that Nvidia also has a lot of electronic devices for different markets, the consumer, the enterprise, the cloud, the big players. So obviously that's great news for Nvidia if they are seeing more bullish sentiment from other buyers and sellers in recent commentary. Obviously, that's going to be beneficial for other semiconductor companies, and I do believe that's one of the main reasons AMD stock price is up 4%, right? If Nvidia can benefit from these recent positive commentary of buyers and sellers in electronic components, then obviously AMD couldn't. AMD right now is sitting at is up 4.2%, up to $120. This one hasn't hit a 52-week high. We've done a few videos on, I personally enjoy AMD right now in its valuation, especially as it's closer to the 100, maybe not too much here at the 120, but when it's getting closer to that 100, I do enjoy that valuation a lot better. If we take a closer look, the analyst also believes that NVIDIA has a huge, vast product selection of electronic components, especially for data center. And with the huge demand in AI, we are seeing an average selling price increase dramatically for a lot of their solutions. And I think that's pretty smart, right? Because NVIDIA right now, many of us just think about it for its H100 GPUs. But this company is upcoming with the Grace Hopper, with the Grace CPU. They also have numerous networking solutions from smart switches, right? They also have DPUs as well. And they also have other solutions for the automotive market as well and the robotics market. So obviously, we are seeing growth in maybe the AI space, but the AI space can use all those products. I mean, in the data center alone, you're using GPUs, you're using CPUs, you're using smart switches, you're using DPUs. So obviously, if we're seeing growth in maybe one segment, you might be seeing growth in another. And again, AMD is very similar where they do have a vast selection of different products. And that's why I do believe sentiment is also following this stock at the moment. The other thing is the analysts, because of this bullish sentiment, did increase the full year 2023 estimates of revenue and their earnings per share. So full year 2023 estimates, he expects $44.3 billion. If we take a closer look at the average for next year, the average is roughly $43.1 billion. So this analyst believes it's a little bit higher than what average expect right now. So that's a bullish trend. Overall, we can also see the trend of NVIDIA's revenue expectations. In the most recent year, it did roughly $27 billion. This current fiscal year is expected to do $43 billion, a huge growth rate. And this is why people are really investing in the growth of Nvidia. We can see next fiscal year is roughly $53 billion, and the year after that, 2 fiscal years ahead, is roughly $69 billion. I actually want to take a closer look at AMD. I do believe most analysts are underestimating AMD. When we see the growth for AMD, I don't believe we see that same numerous growth projection. I do believe AMD can also benefit dramatically from AI, and maybe analysts are under projecting it at the moment. Now, if we take a closer look at earnings per share for current, this analyst believes that the earnings per share will be somewhere around $8.05. Right now, the average is roughly $7.84, so roughly there. So we can see that this analyst is a little bit more bullish than the average collective group of all these price targets right now. So all this is definitely causing Nvidia stock price to see a nice boom. I mean, Nvidia is my number one holding, so obviously I'm super excited. AMD is actually my number two holding, so obviously I'm excited. But at the same time, I do know that these stock prices have kind of gone up dramatically, so I'm always prepared for the worst. And I think if you are an investor, you should never just expect stock prices to always go up and up and up and up. These companies, if maybe the AI demand is not as strong as we think, which I can't see that happening. But there's always the possibility that these stock prices might see a correction from here. So always think about that before purchasing, especially at these valuations, right? Nvidia right now sitting at $476. Even if we look at that earnings per share for next fiscal year, it's roughly 10.25. That's a PE ratio forward of roughly 46, maybe 47. Nothing, it's not crazy, right? 47, I don't believe it's extremely overvalued, but this company does have a lot of expectations, so investors should definitely keep an eye out on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick update. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.